our narrative. Because I put together 7 things that we believe as conservatives or as Republicans. You could come up with 4 or 20 or 15, whatever, it doesn't matter. Every single person in this room, when you get down to it, it's a party of one, right? No 2 people here believe exactly the same on exactly everything. But these were 7 things I thought we might be able to share in common. So let's talk about these things real quick. Let's talk about what we believe. We know what they believe. Let's talk about what we believe. I think the first thing we can agree that we agree on is that conservatives believe in this idea of limited government and free enterprise. And people think these are separate issues, but they're not. They're not only welded together, they're the flip side of the same coin. Because every society in history has had to do certain things. You had to get the food to market, you had to get people clothed, you had to get them fed, you had to get them housing and water, you had to get gas to the gas stations. Every society in the world has to do this. But this is the first society in the world that decided to try to do that differently. Traditionally, all of these goods and services have been provided by the government, by the king or the duke or the emperor or the emir or the sultanate or whatever, or the shogun. First time in history in America, people said, why don't we have groups of individual people voluntarily get together, figure out what they like to do, form an association, and then provide those services for more than it costs them. They can go out that way. Hey, there's a thought. Now, I've been an anti-socialist pretty much all my life because when I was 15, I met 2 people that escaped from real communism. Not the kind of communism that you have at Harvard University. I'm talking about the real deal. I had a friend who escaped from Cuba with his life, and I had a friend who escaped from Bulgaria with his life. And both of them told me the same thing. They said the amazing and remarkable thing about living in a socialist country is that, not that the secret police can take you away and murder you, although that's always with you. The worst part of it is that every single living second of every day, you're reminded of just how useless and worthless you are as an individual. How worthless you are. When the Soviet Union fell, they had 90-year-old women standing in Moscow winters in 50 degrees below zero temperatures outside the department store for 5 hours in the snow to stand in line to get to the store to see if there was anything to buy. In the Soviet Union, if your toilet overflowed and you had raw sewage on your carpet, it might take 10 days to get a plumber there. If you wanted an apartment, that was a 10-year wait. If you wanted a car, that was a 20-year wait. Now, when do we get to interact directly with our government as American citizens? Well, we get to do it at the passport office, we get to do it at the DMV, and we get to do it at the post office. How are those experiences for you? Do you enjoy those? You look forward to going down to the DMV or getting your passport renewed? Why not? Why not? If government control is so good, and everybody talks about how we should let the government do things, why do we hate the times when we actually deal with the government? Because the people at the DMV don't get paid any more if they do 2 people an hour, or 20 people an hour, or 200 people an hour. And if they're surly and rude, they don't get fired. They can't fire these people. You are worthless to them. Worthless. They come in from 9 to 5 and they do as many people as they can, and if they do 5 or 500, it doesn't matter to them. Your time is worthless, which is why it takes 3 hours to get a couple of forms filled out at the DMV. This is better than free enterprise? It's absurd. It's absurd. My voice got so high, almost only dogs could hear me. Everybody knows that businesses perform more efficiently than the government, but here's the thing that you'll hear liberals tell you, and don't let them get away with it. Liberals will often say, well, the government's more moral than a business because these filthy businesses are in it for the profit. But the government, we're not in it for profit. How is that more moral? How is it more moral? Because the government takes its money from you by force. If you don't pay your taxes, sooner or later a car is going to show up in your driveway and men with guns are going to get out and they will get their money. Sooner or later, that is what will happen. The government takes its money from you by force. The government gives you products, goods, or services that you may not want, of a poor quality, whenever they feel like it, not like whenever you do. And if you don't like it, you don't get to go to another government. Right? Coercion, poor quality, and poor service. Now, a business, on the other hand, has to voluntarily persuade you. They have no power over you whatsoever. McDonald's can't line people up and force people into McDonald's. They have to persuade you. They persuade you by offering better quality at a lower price. And if you don't like the quality and the price, you don't like how you're treated, you go to another business. Businesses are